Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with a Journalist, brought to you by One Pitch. The guests on our show include some of the most notable journalists from the top US-based publications who cover topics including technology, lifestyle and culture, health, science, consumer products, and business news. We discuss their role, the types of stories they cover, what their inbox looks like, and how they connect with sources. Joining us on the show today is Dan Bova, an editorial director of digital content for Entrepreneur. Dan has worked for a number of news outlets and TV shows, including Maxim Magazine, Stuff Magazine, The Alec Baldwin Show, and Jimmy Kimmel. He's also written a humor column that has appeared throughout the USA Today network. During the episode, Dan shares more about his role and responsibilities as editorial director of digital content, what types of pitches and content fit his outlet's audience best, why he appreciates any sort of positive feedback, and more. Let's dive into the episode now.
Welcome, everybody. This is Coffee with a Journalist. I'm Beck Bamberger, founder of One Pitch, also BAM, that works with all the wonderful, crazy startups that we have, venture-backed. It's a good time. And today, practically royalty, Dan, as we were talking about, not to inflate this conversation, but Dan Bova is here. He is the editorial director of Entrepreneur. You just heard how he has quite the career, colorful past. I love it. We are here for it. Dan, are you drinking any coffee?
I am. I normally will consume enough coffee to kill a small horse. So
wow. On the daily or just like today?
Every day, every minute, every hour.
Okay. It's rare, I have to say, for us to get a hardcore coffee consumer on here, who then also is even drinking coffee while we actually do this. So how much is enough to kill a small horse?
Well, I'll go through 10, 15 cups of coffee.
10! 15! Oh, you are serious.
Yeah.
I think you hold the record. You hold the record on this show.
You know, I'm good at one thing, I guess, and that's drinking coffee. So
my goodness.
I'll take all the accolades.
My goodness. Wow. Well, this has already gotten interesting. Okay. This is fantastic. First off, Dan, let's start with, for your role, because usually we go right into the inbox and, how crazy is your inbox and all that stuff. But would you, for the sanctity of everybody's just knowledge, describe what the editorial director does?
Sure. Well, ask yourself, what does God do? No, I'm kidding. So editorial director at entrepreneur.com means that I basically oversee all of the digital content that we put up on a daily basis. And for people who do come to our site, they would see that there is quite a lot of content that comes through our contributor program, through our staff writers, through third parties that we have content partnerships with. So it's kind of like a ringmaster kind of role, I guess. I do like to do writing when I can. I have a podcast that's a lot of fun to do. So I try to do a lot of different things. But in terms of with publicists, you know, I do get pitches. Sometimes I take stuff on for myself. Oftentimes, if I see something that's interesting, I'll pass it on to one of my staffers.
And how often are you doing the pass off? You're kind of like air traffic control in that sense. How often does that happen?
It happens pretty regularly. We have a pretty robust contributor program. So we have enough content is never a problem for us. So we have a lot coming to us. I don't forward every single thing that I get, but if there is something in there that's interesting that I haven't seen before or just piques my interest for whatever reason, we're always happy to hear new ideas.
Does that mean, Dan, you were in control of this murky contributor network thing? Who says yes to a potential contributor? PR people want to know.
So a variety of editors. It's not one person who does it. Our staff, we all take a look at the pending applications. You all get pitches. It's really a group effort. If someone is turned down from applying, we are happy to give feedback of, well, why not? What could I do better?
You do?
We do, because
that's fantastic.
Most of us, including myself, are people who come from a writing background, and you know what it's like to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm a pleasant person or a nice person or anything, but sometimes they're just completely off the mark, and then you go, well, this is actually what we're looking for, and then they go, oh, and then they do give you something good. So it does happen.
Okay. That is helpful. And I think it crystallizes for us the role and the function that you play at Entrepreneur. So now into your inbox, do you have any way in which you keep it under control?
I wish to God I did.
No one has figured it out, Dan. It's
My
okay.
inbox would give most people nightmares. If I told you how many unread emails I have in my inbox right now, all those inbox zero people out there would probably start throwing up. So I'm not even going to mention it. Just say it's 6 figures.
Oh, wait. 6 figures?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
I did.
So like there's maybe 900 in there?
No,
you're talking whoa, wait a second. There's possibly like 350,000 emails in there unread?
Yeah, possibly. I don't want to get into specifics here, but it's pretty.
That is gut-wrenching indeed.
Now, let me preface it by saying that is not all emails that I've ignored from people. There's a lot of automated things that I get whenever something publishes.
Yes, of course. Okay.
So, maybe cut that in half, but it's still pretty massive.
Okay. So not only are you maybe the top consumer of coffee on this show yet out of these 60 plus episodes we've done, but I have also not heard, at least admittedly, anyone with that level of an inbox. Can you not delete?
You could, but I always...
But why?
Why? I know people get notifications when their number starts creeping up, but it really doesn't bother me.
You're like, oh my God. Wow. I wonder if this is correlated at all to like the position, so you can kind of I don't know. I think we just need to move on.
I'll also say I'm not an ignorer of emails.
Yes.
I'm not. I swear I'm not. But I just get a lot.
Yeah.
So I could spend the next 5 months of my life deleting stuff, but I choose not to.
But why? Yeah. In a way, it's very efficient.
Yeah. My complete inefficiency is very efficient.
Oh my God. Okay. So again, this might depend in the interesting position you have there for Entrepreneur, but the coaxing or the creation of a story. And I always like to ask people, like, what is it that makes you go, oh, you know what? That's a story I want to pursue. Like you have this one thing on Forrest Galante, it looks like, on the fearless biologist getting a real job. You have something about, you kind of have all types of random stuff. You have Earth Day, inspiring travel. You've got all the tax time things. You've got quite a rapper thing. You definitely have an array of things, Dan, that you're covering: travel, success, get a real job. Do you have moments that strike you for inspiration or a way in which you get those story ideas?
For me personally, it usually starts with, I just love talking to people who do something very unique or took a big risk or just tried something that seems like slightly crazy and it worked out for them. I love, at the core of all this, I love just the human story, telling someone's story, in a broader sense. For content on Entrepreneur, for me or for any of the editors, we're always thinking like, what is the reader going to get out of this? Is it an entertaining story? Is it an inspiring story? Or is it really going to teach you a lot? And there's a lot of takeaways here. So what we're not looking for is someone to say, this is my company and all the great things we do. We're always looking at it from our reader's perspective. We want content on our site that's either going to inspire, inform, or entertain people. And that's what we look for in the pitch. Something that's unique, something I haven't heard before, or something that's maybe it's not the most unique thing in the world, but it's really taught me a lot. So that's what we're looking for.
Okay. So you don't have necessarily like your inspiration process, like, oh, I go on this walk with my dog. I take a long shower. There's nothing kind of like that for you necessarily. You drink the coffee.
I drink 17 cups of coffee and then I run into a wall and then no, it's part of the thing that I kind of love about Entrepreneur is that so many different types of people doing so many types of different things. To me, it's more like the uniqueness of things that sort of float from outer space into my insane inbox, and some of those things you just like feel compelled to click on and learn more.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I'm that interested in it, our readers probably are.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us too, for everyone's edification here, what is the entrepreneur reader? It sounds obvious. It's of course entrepreneurs, but expand on that.
Yeah, so it is a little bit broader than that. So we certainly have readers who are entrepreneurs, small business owners who have been at it for quite a while. A lot of our audience are in a startup phase. A lot, particularly in the past year, are people who have a side hustle that they've just kind of getting off the ground. A lot of people are doing that. And then there's a huge part of our audience that are just, they're aspirational.
Oh, we call those wantapreneurs.
Okay.
Yes.
I give them a slightly nicer.
Yes, I know. In the founder community, though, it's like, oh, those was.
So, there's people who are dreaming of doing this kind of stuff. So, that's those stories of the person who gave up their corporate job. Their first thing they did failed and they lived on their mom's couch for a year and then it finally took off. Like people love those kinds of stories.
Mm-hmm. It is good to see those because you do need that inspiration, I would say, as an entrepreneur founder quite often. Okay, that was helpful.
Today's interview will continue after this brief message brought to you by OnePitch. Are you curious to see the unique ways OnePitch helps PR professionals and marketers pitch journalists? Head to onepitch.co to learn about our new OnePitch score and see how easy it is to find the right journalist to pitch your news to. Sign up for your free account today. Now, back to today's episode.
Dan, I have a fill in the blank section here. So I'm going to give you the little phrase and then you could fill it in from there. Does that sound good?
Maybe.
Let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay. My favorite sources always.
My favorite sources always teach me something.
Okay. The most annoying sources always.
Give me their sales pitch.
In like a pitch specifically?
Some people I talk to, whether it's just a phone interview or sometimes when we're trying to do a podcast, they forget that they're having a conversation and they kind of slip into their sales pitch mode and then they talk for 30 minutes straight, which is a lot like I'm doing right now. And you can't get in a word in edgewise and your eyes start to glaze over.
Oh, the worst. The worst.
I can hear your eyes glazing over as I speak. So
yeah, I can. Yeah, I can just, well, I think everyone knows that exactly. You've all heard a sales pitch, and it's almost like it's like a snapping into place. Someone's like, "Oh, I'm on," and so you're just listening to this kind of robotic thing. And you're like, "Oh God, I've lost them. Exactly. I've totally lost them."
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. You'll get a response from me if
at first if your subject line really jumps out at me, or, and this is probably going to be not many people will say this, but I do like people when they follow up because as I noted earlier in the podcast, I have a disaster of an inbox. So I actually appreciate people just reconnecting and saying, hey, just wanted to float this back to the top of your inbox. So I actually appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. You'll never get a response from me if
you obviously copy and pasted a pitch that you sent to a million other people, and the only value it has is for the person you're pitching to be, to have our site as like your platform and treating it like an advertisement.
Mm-hmm. So looping back to the follow-up, the next one is, you can follow up with me how many times?
I'm going to put it at 2.
Yeah.
I do look for that. I am promising that I get back to people that I'm interested in. And I wish I was better about getting back to people with a no, but then that often becomes its own conversations. I'd like to get back to more people than I do, unfortunately. I don't have time to get back to everybody.
It would be a huge help
if you would come to my house and walk my dog at 6 o'clock in the morning, that would be a massive help.
What's your dog's name?
My dog's name, I'm going to whisper it because he's sleeping.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to wake up. It's Clark.
That's a cute dog name.
His ears twitched.
Oh.
But it is currently like 100 degrees here in New York.
Oh,
so
yes.
he is in no rush to go outside. So that's a good one.
The best compliment I received about my work was?
Oh, that's interesting. No, that's not the thing, but that's interesting question. I guess I've loved when I've been able to infuse a little bit of my voice into a story and trying to be funny, and someone tells me that they read it and thought it was funny. That kind of feedback is always appreciated. And I just, every once in a while we'll hear from a reader who just really got inspired by, a profile we did or some kind of story that was very helpful to them. So I'll take any kind of positive feedback. I have 2 teenage boys, so I'm dying for any kind of positive feedback in my life.
Oh God, they must be horrendous.
They're the worst.
Yes. Oh.
I like, anyone who has found it as a story to be helpful or that got them fired up to try something new, like that's pretty cool.
So do they give you stuff like, Dad, that's lame?
On a good day, yes.
That's so rough.
They are a tough audience, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, man. Okay. One piece of advice for aspiring journalists is?
Right. I know that's probably a pat response and probably annoying, but there's so many platforms to write. I'm approximately 400 years old, so I came up in a time where there wasn't a million free platforms that you could just publish your stuff. That just didn't exist. So, repetition will sharpen your skills, and just keep at it. You'll get better with every story. And after you write it, I know editing, people don't like. Revising is a pain in the ass, can I say?
Yeah. That's totally fine.
But go back to it. What I'm going to say is a cliche, but look for cliches because they sneak in there without you really realizing it in the moment. And you don't have to tell people we live in unprecedented times. I think we've moved on.
I think we're done with that.
I think we're
but
done.
You know what? How crazy will that be 20 years from now when that'll be like on T-shirts as like an early 2020 saying?
Exactly.
Unprecedented. Yeah.
And I would say
protest
for contributors or people who want to write for Entrepreneur, we don't need an opening paragraph describing like what a crazy year it's been.
No, we're done with that.
We're all aware.
Do people still do that though?
They do. And not everyone who is a contributor is a professional journalist. So, some people need some editorial help, which we're happy to give always. But I would definitely put that out there.
Okay. The last best thing I ate or cooked was?
So on Sunday, I grilled a filet, and then it was gigantic. So then yesterday I made a kind of bolognese sauce with the leftovers and some red wine, and it was awesome.
That sounds fabulous.
It was awesome. If I can brag for a minute, it was awesome.
Good for you. It sounds good. Quarantine has taught me
that a staff can be much more collaborative and efficient remotely than I would have ever dreamed.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't that great?
It is. It's great because, as I said, I've got kids, everyone has things going on in their lives, and to have the ability to just like stop what you're doing and take care of some household thing for 5 minutes and then get back to work, it just makes your life less hectic. You don't always feel like I know there's the separate, some people are really into like separating work and life and stuff, but I have found that the way that things can meld together, it sort of like takes out the time pressure on both sides of the equation.
Mm-hmm. That is good. My perfect Sunday is
making a filet that will later become the most delicious bolognese sauce you've ever made.
There you go. That is good. Dan, we always like to ask folks, what are you reading, listening to, watching, consuming? We'll take anything. So is there any other stories you're listening to or enjoying that you want to share?
Now, I used to do this a lot when I was commuting into the city on the train, but I'm a big audiobook guy.
Me too.
And now that I got the dog out there, I'm big into that. So what did let me think. I just finished a book about the making of Goodfellas called Made Men, which was pretty awesome. I'm typically I'll listen to a lot of history, a lot of kind of like science oriented things, space, little geeky in that regard. But I would say primarily history books are the thing. I just finished Chernow's biography of Grant, which was pretty awesome.
Oh, wait. Who wrote it?
Ron Chernow, the Hamilton guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, here. Oh, yes. Wow. Okay.
Biographies, people.
First of all, I have to say, I always look at right up on Audible. Man, this one is 48 hours as an Audible. It is, but may I also say it has flawless 5-star, about 10,000 reviews.
It's pretty great, but you got to put it on the double speed, so you cut
you got it.
Right there.
All right, I'm adding to the wish list. There we go. Perfect. I get all my recommendations from this show. It's wonderful. Okay, good. Is there anything you're like looking forward to read? Any history stuff coming up?
No, I'm done. No, I'm trying to think. I got to see what's on I can actually pull up my queue here, see what's on the old wait list. Let's see. This is going to be very not interesting listening as I scroll.
That's okay. We're here. It's a podcast. We got time.
I don't know if it's good, but I hope it's good. Is a book about Babe Ruth called The Big Fella by Jane. So both of my kids are big baseball playing children. So I shouldn't say children. One of them just graduated.
Teenagers.
But they're super into baseball. So whether or not I have to be. So I'm looking forward to reading that one or listening to that one.
That's so what the kids call nostalgic in a way.
It is.
Like that's a very traditional sport of sorts. Do they play video games or anything? Are they anything like more modern?
Yeah. Well, my youngest is 14 and he is definitely of the glued to his phone variety. It's an interesting thing watching them not watch TV. They really don't watch TV at all anymore, which is wild.
Yeah.
As a person who constantly got yelled at by my parents for watching too much TV, and then I'm like, put down your phone, watch TV, Look at the big
right?
Yeah.
Things always come around, don't they? Oh, man. Well, Dan, what would you say, transitioning out into what you like to read and what you're listening to and all that good stuff, what is the future of journalism to you?
The future of journalism to me is a big question mark. Getting back to the whole idea that sort of anyone can publish anything on these platforms. Well, let me say what I hope it is not, which is I hope it doesn't continue to be every site looking for what's trending and then writing a sort of summary of what somebody else wrote. That is very prevalent out there. So I'm hoping that it's more about people boots on the ground reporting what they're seeing and hearing and democratizing it a bit, I guess, is maybe the best way to say it. I don't know if that's going to be very profitable, but as a consumer, I like to get stuff from a lot of different sources.
Would you advise, let's say, your teenager's friend who's like, they're going into college, they're like, yeah, I'm going to study journalism. Would you say, yeah, do that?
I would say do that if that's your thing, if you're like really compelled and you have like a true love of digging around and finding stories and writing about them, yes.
Mhm.
I wouldn't recommend it if you want to one day own a Maserati and a mansion.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the path for you.
No,
No.
I don't think that it doesn't typically go in that direction.
Yeah.
But, it's pat advice, but I think you really do have to do something that you care about. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it's just torture.
When you mention that too, I wonder, and it's not like I'm a social scientist on anything of the demographic changes of millennials and Gen Zs or whatever the hell, or whatever we have here, but if there is such a focus of Gen Z to give back, be part of the world, be a global citizen, and so forth, I wonder if there will be any increase in a focus on journalism, to tell you the truth. Will
Yeah.
there be a spike in that from just a pure generational look?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That's one of the cool things that I see a lot talking to different entrepreneurs and stuff is how important that is to people to be doing something that at the end of the day
Matters.
they do want to make some money, but they want to make a positive impact. And it's pretty cool to see people putting that so first and foremost in their thinking and their approach to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting to see. I guess we'll see in 10 something plus years on what happens.
Yeah, I hope my children do something that makes them incredibly wealthy so that me and my dog can retire.
You and Clark living the good life. That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Well, we now have, Dan, this very fun Mad Libs, which I love to play. So I'm going to give you a word, and then eventually I'm going to plug everything in and then read you back the paragraph. And sometimes
Oh boy.
they're just funny. Sometimes they're very accurate. I mean, it really spans the gamut. So we will see. But the first one is an emotion.
Okay. Can't overthink this. So
No, you got to just go with it.
Happy.
Happy. Okay. An adjective.
Smelly.
Smelly.
I'm looking
Another adjective.
Large.
Large. A greeting.
Sup.
No, who tells you that today? Does a teenager say that?
No, I say that to my teenagers.
Oh, just to bug them?
Their heads.
Like dad joke?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, a verb.
Cut.
Cut. A noun.
Money.
Money. An adjective.
Broke.
This is going to be great. Oh, a cringeworthy PR term or phrase, such as just following up.
Oh, man. Shit. Oh, sorry. I don't know.
That's okay. We accept all words here.
Big conversation in my office, but Friday Junior. I don't know if you've heard this.
What?
People trying to make Thursday, they keep referring it to it as Friday Junior.
No. Who's doing that?
It's happening. It's
clearly not an unemployed person. Who else is doing this?
I've gotten several publicists saying Happy Friday.
No. Can
So
we stop that?
I don't know if that works in the phrasing of this.
That's totally works, but God, I don't know. I don't like that.
That's a tough one.
Okay. What is a part of a pitch?
What is a part of a pitch?
Yeah, just any part of a pitch.
The end.
The end. Okay. And then a length of time.
30 hours.
30 hours. The name of a real person, preferably alive.
Why is that so hard for me to think? Shit. I do curse a lot.
That's fine.
I'm trying not to.
We embrace it.
Oprah Winfrey.
Okay, Oprah. Oh, okay. And emotion. This is the last one.
Content.
Okay, Dan, here we go.
Oh, boy.
When I think of the future of journalism, I feel happy. The pitches I receive have gone from smelly to large. If I receive a pitch that starts with sup, I cut. When I God, when I write stories on money, I get broke. My favorite pitches include Friday Juniors and very specifics, the end. I normally take around 30 hours to respond to my emails, but if it's Oprah, I will respond immediately.
There you go.
If you do get a response back from me, you should know I am very content for you.
I like that.
Wow. I love it.
That almost made sense in some spots.
Right.
So
It is a magical creation that we have on the show. It really has worked out.
Fun thing that I at least steal from my podcast. So
yeah, write that one down, Dan. If I receive a pitch that starts with "sup," I cut. Excellent. Yeah. Wow, this has gone real dark. Oh, Dan, this has been such a delight. We've learned so much. Thank you for being here, and thanks for chugging that coffee. Just wonderful.
Thank you for having me, and for anyone who's listened, thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Coffee with a Journalist featuring Dan Bova from Entrepreneur. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you have a moment, please leave us a review to share your thoughts about the show and today's guest. To learn more about the latest tools on OnePitch and to subscribe to our weekly podcast newsletter, head to our website at onepitch.co. We'll see you all next week with a brand new guest and even more insights about the journalists you want to learn more about. Until then, start great stories.